This is a very friendly conversation, but we want to make our own cars. We don't really want cars from Canada.
Did you hear what Canada's Prime Minister just announced? Mark Carney, which is Canada's newly elected Prime Minister, had these things to announce as they are going to be enforcing these new policies and new regulations for all Canadians. Effective June the 1st, all vehicles that were manufactured.
Friends, Americans, countrymen, lend me your ears. We're talking about cars. Carhelpout.com, your local mobile mechanic service. Near me here, a simple way to get an independent certified mobile mechanic service to come to you at any location at your convenience. Specifically those shiny, new vehicles you dream of parking in your driveway. But what if those dreams came with a hefty price tag, thanks to our favorite deal maker in chief? That's right, folks. Donald Trump, the man who wrote The Art of the Deal, seems to have missed the chapter on international trade. He's threatening tariffs on Canadian-made cars. And let me tell you, this ain't no fender bender. We're talking a full-blown multi-car pileup of an economic disaster. Why, you ask? Well, buckle up, Buttercup, because things are about to get complicated. If you're struggling to come up with cash for an emergency auto repair, you're not alone. That's why Auto Car Repair Loans offer a convenient way to gain quick access to the money you need when an emergency pops up. With loans up to $2,500 to $5,000. Visit carhelpout.com/repair loan to get started today. Don't forget, if you ever need to sell your house fast and as-is condition anywhere in the U.S., either to stop foreclosure, avoid county tax auction, or unwanted house, go to boracina.com/carhelpout and get a relief under house burden. Don't forget, if your local small business or good service website needs more traffic exposure from Google, Yahoo, Bing, and other search engines, go to carhelpout.com/SEO. They can help you when it comes to local SEO and online digital marketing service consulting.
Carhelpout.com. It's the convenience.
Imagine a little piston. It's a humble car part, right? But this piston, it's a real globetrotter. It starts its life in Quebec, gets molded into shape in Ontario, takes a quick jaunt to Detroit for some finishing touches, pops over to Windsor for installation, and finally ends up in a shiny new car rolling off the assembly line in Michigan. This, my friends, is the reality of the auto industry. A complex, interwoven tapestry of parts and labor that spans the U.S.-Canada border. It's like a beautiful, well-oiled machine where each part relies on the other to function. Or, like a game of hot potato, but with more welding. The point is, slapping tariffs on Canadian cars is like throwing a wrench. See what I did there? Into the whole system. Into the
Carhelpout.com. It's the convenience.
Now, you might be wondering, why all the border hopping? Why not just make everything in one place? Well, my friends, it all boils down to efficiency, proximity, and that sweet, sweet free trade. You see, different regions specialize in different things. Canada, for example, has a skilled workforce and lower labor costs for some parts of the process. Plus, with plants strategically located near the border, transportation is a breeze. Why, just the other day I heard a story about a guy who drove a truckload of car seats from Windsor to Detroit, and the whole trip took less time than it takes me to explain the Electoral College. It's that easy. So, by working together, the U.S. and Canada have created a lean, mean car-making machine. It's a beautiful thing. Until, of course, someone decides to mess with the formula.
Carhelpout.com. It's the convenience.
Speaking of messing with the formula, let's take a trip down memory lane, shall we? Back in the 1950s, Canada, in a fit of protectionism, slapped tariffs on those fancy American cars. It was a tense time, like a family Thanksgiving dinner with more passive-aggressive comments than mashed potatoes. But then, in 1965, something magical happened. The U.S. and Canada signed the Auto Pact, a treaty so groundbreaking, so revolutionary, that it makes the Magna Carta look like a grocery list. Okay, that might be a slight exaggeration, but it was a big deal. The Auto Pact basically said, hey, let's stop this tariff nonsense and be friends. And friends they became, with car production in Canada booming and everyone reaping the benefits. It was a beautiful example of international cooperation, at least until now.
This is a very friendly conversation, but we want to make our own cars. We don't really want cars from Canada. And we put tariffs on cars from Canada, and at a certain point, it won't make economic sense for Canada to build those cars. And we don't want steel from Canada because we're making our own steel, and we're having massive steel plants being built right now as we speak. We really don't want Canadian steel, and we don't want Canadian aluminum and various other things because we want to be able to do it ourselves. And we, because of, past thinking of people, we have a tremendous deficit with Canada. In other words, they have a surplus with us. And there's no reason for us to be subsidizing Canada. Canada's a place that will have to be able to take care of itself economically. I assume they can. I will tell you that Trudeau, when I spoke to him, I used to call him Governor Trudeau. I think that probably didn't help his election. But when I spoke to him, I said, so why are we taking your cars? Why are we taking we want to make them ourselves. I said, and if the price of your cars went up, or if we put a tariff on your cars of 25%, what would that mean to you?
Carhelpout.com. It's the convenience.
Because here's the thing, folks. Tariffs are like that annoying itch you can't scratch. They're irritating, they cause unnecessary pain, and they never seem to go away once they start. If Trump goes ahead with his plan, we're looking at a whole world of hurt. First off, the U.S. would need to build a bunch of new factories, which would cost billions of dollars and take years to complete. It's like trying to build a house of cards on top of a roller coaster. Expensive, time-consuming, and likely to end in disaster. And then there's the issue of finding skilled workers. You see, those Canadian workers, they're pretty darn good at their jobs. Replacing them would be like trying to replace the drummer in a band with a guy who just bangs on pots and pans. It's just not the same.
Carhelpout.com. It's the convenience.
Now, you might be thinking, well, that's too bad for Canada, but at least we'll be putting America first. But here's the kicker, folks. Tariffs hurt everyone. Remember that well-oiled machine we talked about earlier? Well, get ready for some serious grinding, because tariffs mean higher costs for parts, which means higher costs for production, which means higher prices for you, the consumer. And what about Canada? Well, they're not just going to sit back and take it. They'll likely retaliate with tariffs of their own, meaning American businesses and consumers will get hit twice as hard. It's like starting a food fight with someone who's armed with a bigger spoon. You're both going down, but they're going down less messy. So, congratulations, America. We've managed to start a trade war with our closest ally and economic partner. Give yourselves a hand.
Did you hear what Canada's Prime Minister just announced? Mark Carney, which is Canada's newly elected Prime Minister, had these things to announce as they are going to be enforcing these new policies and new regulations for all Canadians. Effective June the 1st, all vehicles that were manufactured before the year 2000 will be phased out due to Canadian road safety and safety emissions. So for everybody that has a vehicle that is older than the year 2000, what are they going to do if they can't afford a new vehicle? But that's not all. He's also going to crack down on non-compliant window tints, especially in the rear windows that are now prohibited. And he's going to give Canadians 14 days to make sure that their windows are under compliance. If you're not going to remove the tint, you'll have to install brand new windows in your vehicle. Any trucks, sorry, this is just laughable. Every truck that is lifted more than its original lift from the manufacturer will have to remove that lift system and bring it back to quote unquote code for safety purposes. Because nobody is safe around a lifted truck apparently. Freedom of speech, you could say bye to that, because he's also going to be cracking down on speech that is online that may be offensive or hateful. And he allegedly will bring law enforcement into this, and they will be working with social media platforms so that they can prosecute such speech online. So be careful if you say the wrong thing in Canada, because you might end up behind bars. He's also going to be cracking down on those laws in Canada, because apparently Canada doesn't need to defend themselves and they have too many pew-pews on the street. And one of his final, most heroic missions, he wants to continue to push forward DEI. And if it doesn't sound familiar, this is the exact same regime. These are the exact same steps that we would have been experiencing had Kamala been elected.
Carhelpout.com. It's the convenience.
So, what's the solution? Well, it's simple, really. We need to stop treating trade like a zero-sum game and start working together to find solutions that benefit everyone. Instead of building walls, metaphorical or otherwise, let's build bridges. Let's invest in education and training to create a workforce that's equipped for the jobs of the future. And let's remember that cooperation, not confrontation, is the key to a prosperous future. Because at the end of the day, we're all in this together. We breathe the same air, we drink the same water, and we all want to drive a car that doesn't cost the equivalent of a small island nation. So let's put the brakes on this tariff nonsense and get back to what we do best: building great cars together. After all, isn't that what America is all about? Carhelpout.com is the best way to get a mobile mechanic auto car repair service shop on wheels to come to you. Whether you're stuck at home or on the side of the road, our mobile mechanics are ready to assist you. We bring the repair shop to your location to save you time and hassle. We also provide emergency vehicle roadside assistance, such as car battery jumpstart, flat tire road service, running out of gas service if your vehicle stops or has a problem on the side of the road or any business parking lot. We understand that car troubles can be stressful, so we aim to provide quick and efficient solutions to get you back on the road as soon as possible. Additionally, we offer pre-purchase used car buying inspection checkup services review. Whether you're buying from local dealership or private car owner seller, either from Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, automotive auction, or anywhere else, we can help you with PPI inspection. We can come to you at any location, whether it's your home driveway, your office parking lot, or even if you're stranded on the roadside.
Carhelpout.com. It's the convenience.